the best debut in a collapse down the stretch is how I guess we're going to be starting off the 2025 season. Well, 2025-2026 season. But what's up, everyone? Welcome into your Celtics Source, where the Celtics collapse down the stretch and suffer a 117-116 defeat at home against the Philadelphia 76ers. And we're going to talk about, what went wrong down the stretch. We'll talk about key performances from the 76ers side, some solid performances from the Celtics side, some pretty big mistakes from the Celtics side. But I do want to just start off by saying how excited I am, despite the team that we have, and maybe this isn't a top-tier contender. It's always fun when the Celtics are playing, no matter what happens this season. So I'm just excited to be back in the basketball season, covering every game here with live post-game shows. In between games, we have podcast episodes. On the weekends, we will occasionally do live streams for Celtics games, so watch parties where you can tune in, comment, and just watch with me. We will also do sometimes over the weekends. We'll just do watch parties for the entire NBA, where we just sit down for a day and just watch NBA games, especially if there are multiple games over the course of the day. But as for this game, it looked like the Celtics were, going to come out flying. Xavier Tillman, he blocks a shot early on Joel Embiid. Jaylen Brown was playmaking, getting Tillman and other guys involved. Joe Mazzulla was, making quick subs for players that were giving up offensive rebounds, just like he did in the preseason. And I didn't know how that was going to work out, especially because, at some point you can't sub off a Jaylen Brown or a Derrick White just because they don't get the offense or the defensive rebound, because you need those guys out there for their offense, and really defense overall as well. But Joe Mazzulla didn't hesitate to take off some of the other role players. We saw he put in Garza early, he put in Minot early, he took off Keita early because he was not able to get a early rebound, and it seems like it's going to be one of the major issues for the Celtics this season, which is unfortunate because, with the limited defense they have, they can't be affording to give up second chance opportunities. And if they're going to be doing that, they're going to struggle to find wins. But, we'll continue to watch it and see how it progresses. One of the things I did think was, improved over the since the preseason is Anthony Simon's defense. I thought he looked pretty good in this game. On-ball defense, and he wasn't getting caught sleeping on off-the-ball backdoor cuts and, movement and screens. I thought he did a great job staying engaged. A huge improvement from the first couple of preseason games, and obviously from the start of preseason where he just could not care less to be on that side of the floor. But the reason that the Celtics lost this game is, yes, it was a unfortunate sort of collapse in defensive miscues down the stretch, but Tyrese Maxey just went off. 40 points for him, right? 7 of 9 from 3, 13 of 24 overall. So not even that great of a efficiency, but 7 3-pointers, 6 assists as well. So getting his guys involved. He was only a +3 on the night, but the way he was just running past the Celtics defenders in transition was just something that the Celtics couldn't keep up with. They had no way to match his pace and energy throughout the course of the game. I thought the Celtics did a great job for the most part of, just letting him score and trying to, defend everyone else. But when you have, and we'll get to what VJ Edgecombe did in his rookie debut, which was incredible. But as for Maxey, right, he's really the face of this 76ers team right now because Joel Embiid, and I know he's on a minutes restriction tonight and probably will be for a lot of games to start the season, but he didn't look comfortable out there, right? He scores just 4 points, 0 of 4 from 3, 1 of 9 in field goals overall, right? So I'm not sure what was going on with him. He had 6 rebounds, but it seemed like he wasn't really trying out there because the Celtics were putting a guy like Derrick White on him, and Derrick White's a great defender, but Derrick White should not be able to guard Joel Embiid. So I don't know if he was just, I know it's his first time playing real NBA games in like 9 months, so maybe that's a difference, and he just needs time to get back in the flow of it. But if that's the Joel Embiid we are getting, the 76ers will not be going anywhere despite their win tonight. But before we move on to the Celtics side of things, VJ Edgecombe, and I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce his last name. I think it's Edgecombe, but 34 points. He was obviously the number 3 draft pick overall last season, but 34 points in your debut, I think that's tied 3rd most all time. He was just tearing apart the Celtics, right? 5 of 13 from 3, 13 of 26 overall, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, just 2 turnovers. And he was just, I'm not sure, like the Celtics didn't have an answer for his physicality, for his energy, for his shooting and clutch scoring at times when it seemed like the Celtics were going on a run and he would just turn off the momentum, or he would score and start a run for the 76ers. So it was just incredible to see what he was able to do as a rookie in his first real NBA game, which, I mean, there's not much more you can say about him, just that he's going to be a star in this league. All right, but as for the Celtics, I think it's pretty obvious that there's not much else behind Jaylen Brown and Derrick White, and even Peyton Pritchard. Yes, I thought Anthony Simons looked okay tonight, and obviously I don't think it helped that the Celtics went 11 of 43 from 3, right, just 25%, but you don't really have that many consistent three-point shooters, so I'm not sure you're going to get that percentage up much higher. Yes, Derrick White needs to make a lot more shots. Anthony Simons needs to make shots. I would like to see a couple more threes from Jaylen Brown, right? He only took 4 in this game, made 2 of them. Right? If he can get that 3-point attempts up to, 6 to 8, because you're just gonna need that scoring. Even if he, misses a couple more, I just think you need a couple more threes to stay in these games where the Celtics offense or the Celtics defense, and it's really just a back and forth sort of shootout because the Celtics defense is not going to be able to stop the other team either. Right? And I know Edgecombe and Maxey had great games, but they're not even close to some of the offenses you're going to go up against this season. Right? So you just have to, if you're the Celtics and if you're Joe Mazzulla, at some point, right, your defense is not going to continue to improve. It's going to be up to the offense to keep you in games. And funny enough, a lot of the points that Maxey and Edgecombe got were in transition, which would not have happened had the Celtics made their shots. But, besides that, down the stretch, you cannot be that sloppy, especially when you need to win these games that you have a lead entering the fourth quarter, entering the last 3 minutes of the game. If you have a lead, you have to win that game because there are going to be games where you're just not in it from the start, right? I think there's going to be multiple games when you play the Western Conference where it's going to be a blowout. And so you have to pick up the wins when you can. And this was an unfortunate situation where the Celtics were unable to do that and start 0-1 for the first time in 3 years. But, we'll go through some of the performances. Jaylen Brown, I thought he had a pretty decent game. 9 of 18 overall, 25 points, just 2 turnovers, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. I would like to see him get up those assists a little bit more, find ways to get other guys involved, which he did a good job at the start, but he sort of faded away from that as the game went on, and I think that really hurt the Celtics. And really, for the most part, I didn't think the offense, looked too bad in terms of play style. It was just they could not hit the three, which we've seen plenty of times before, but it's, more emphasized on this team, of course, because they really have no other way to win, it seems like. But after this game, I think we realized that the center depth is, as low as we thought, right? Luka Garza actually left the game with a concussion protocol and a bloody lip or something that he injured in the game, I think, when he went up for a rebound against Edgecombe. And obviously Keita fouls out at the end of the game, and so they have to put in Xavier Tillman, and that just can't be happening, right? Keita needs to know that he's really the only center on this team, and so he has to stay engaged and stay engaged so that he's not picking up these sort of sloppy fouls and is available at the end of the game, which he looked great in this game, right? He had a sort of slow start to preseason. He picked it up in that final preseason game, and then in this game, he was fantastic, right? He scores, 17 points, 7 of 8 overall, right? He had some great backdoor dunks in that fourth quarter, 8 rebounds as well. So he did a great job in this game, except for the 6 fouls, which he picks up at, the end of the game, or the last couple of fouls that he picks up, and is not available as a rim protector in the final minutes of the game when you needed him most. So, you can't blame it on Keita for that collapse, but at the same time, you can for not being available to help his team. But, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here because, it's just one game, and we can't react to each and every game, like the season's over, because it's just going to be that type of season where they're riding high for a while, and then it all falls down for a while. And it's going to be that up and down roller coaster type of season. This team is going to finish around 500 is my guess, which makes perfect sense for that up and down roller coaster of the season. But they have a pretty easy stretch. Obviously, Friday's going to be a hard game against the Knicks. But they have a pretty easy stretch to start the season, so they got to be able to capitalize on some of these games. But, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. Follow on social media. We will be doing a live post-game show Friday, probably a podcast episode Saturday or Sunday. Probably Saturday. Sunday, I think they play the Pistons, first road game, I believe. So we will be live for that. It's a midday game, so we might actually do a stream and watch party for that game as well. But, make sure to check out podcasts on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, I guess, go Celtics.
Brown lets it fly. Bottom, a three. From behind, knocking it away. Tatum cashes in. But you got it back inside.